Hello, and welcome to the My Heart and Mind podcast, where it's all about creating the feel-good mindset so you can make the most of every moment and reap the benefits of getting the most happiness out of life. And now, over to your host, Sally Crawley.
My show is for you if you've had a heart attack, heart surgery, a cardiac arrest, or your life has been impacted by a cardiac diagnosis. It's all about mastering your thoughts and feelings and emotions so you can feel great and live a life that you love despite your diagnosis. Thank you so much for joining me today. Just before we get into the show though, please be aware that my work is not intended to replace conventional medicine. It is complementary. If you have any concerns about your health or your heart, then do seek medical expert advice immediately. Hey, it's Sally here again. I'm sure we've all heard it, just think positively. But after a life-altering cardiac event, that can feel impossible. You're probably thinking, you can't just wish yourself better, and honestly, I agree. We're allowed to feel sad, angry and despondent after trauma. However, there's a powerful link between your mindset and your cardiac recovery. Your thoughts do affect how you feel, act and behave. If a rainy day can alter your mood, imagine the impact on your long-term health choices. In this episode, I'll explore how shifting your perspective, one thought at a time, can genuinely underpin making those crucial lifestyle changes and reducing your risk factors. It's not about being positive all the time, but about building resilience through repetition. Stick with me as we uncover simple, actionable ways to cultivate a more positive mental attitude for your heart health journey. You're not alone. Let's carry on. Having a positive mental attitude underpins making lifestyle changes and reducing your risk factors. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that you can't think yourself better. No amount of telling yourself that you're doing well will change the fact that this awful thing happened to you and it's changed your life forever. I can appreciate exactly why you think those thoughts, and I agree, because it's exactly how I and most people feel right after a life-altering heart event. But there is some truth to it, and before I continue, I want to just add a caveat here, and that is, you don't have to be positive all the time. That is something from way back in the 1980s. I remember those days. It was all about non-stop PMA, positive mental attitude, this, that and the other. But in reality, you wouldn't expect a person to be positive when they're ill, just lost their job, or a loved one dies. We're all allowed to be sad and despondent and to have a pity party when things are really tough. But what I want to talk to you about today is about how your mindset is linked to your cardiac recovery. Maybe you don't see at the moment, it's that how you think affects how you feel, and then how you act, and then how you behave. Everything is linked. Your thoughts affect your mood, which in turn affects your actions. If you have a negative thought about something you don't like, it can take over your feelings. For instance, if you woke up and found it was raining outside when you thought it'd be a sunny day, and decide that the rain has ruined your day, then your mood can drop quite low. You may decide that going out to see your friend who you'd not seen in months, or going for a little walk that you'd said you'd do today won't happen. You may decide that staying inside by yourself is the better option because the rain has made you feel sad or angry. If instead you put on your coat, grab an umbrella and have taken the steps out the front door, you would find that the rain is actually something you can cope with for a short while on that walk to your friend's house. And then you realise that your friend is exactly who you needed to see today and it helps you feel happy. I know I've oversimplified it and it does sound so simple, doesn't it? I know that it's not always the case though, especially after a heart attack or heart surgery or another cardiac event. Going through trauma can alter the way your brain thinks. I've covered this in my other episodes and articles. I'll add links to these in the show notes. So what can you do to try and lift your mood every day and start to push away those negative thoughts when they enter your head? How do we change our mindset? Well, the answer is the same as how we change most things. It's repetition. You have a choice every time a thought enters your head. Your choice is to look at that thought negatively or positively. The only way we change our mindset is to keep choosing to look at any thought in a positive way. Now I can hear you thinking that this sounds like a lot of hard work and even impossible. Well, it is very possible. Trauma and PTSD can trigger a lot of negative thoughts, feelings and memories. They can enter our heads at any moment and can be triggered by anything. Realising that moment that it is happening to us is probably the first step. Noticing your thoughts. Being aware that this negative thought or memory is there and knowing that you have the choice on how you cope with this thought. We control our thoughts. Our thoughts don't control us. As an example, it could be something like the doctor has sent a letter with an appointment date on it through your front door. This, just seeing it sitting on your doormat, could have triggered a negative thought. For example, they get contacting you because you've got some bad news coming. This has then triggered fears of worry, and you may think then that you're better off putting off opening that envelope, as you don't know if you'd be able to cope with any bad news. It would ruin your day. This negative thought that has snowballed in your mind and caused feelings of anxiety can be stopped with practice. In reality, when you do eventually stop worrying about it and you open the letter, the doctor has more than likely been sending you a follow-up appointment or just wanted to check that everything was okay. So when you first see the letter with the doctor's address on it, it is at that moment that you need to realise this is a trigger. This is a triggering negative thought that comes to mind, and you should focus on a more positive aspect of the situation. Remember, glasses can be half full or half empty. Mine's usually overflowing. For instance, the doctor is making sure that they see you for a follow-up appointment to keep an eye on you and make sure that everything is okay. If it was not okay, then they would be able to catch it early. Avoiding the appointment altogether and living with your worry, anxiety and fear of a doctor's letter is putting you in a worse situation. You should always go to your doctor's appointments, and I find that the thought of something happening is far worse than the actual doing. Just realising when a thought or feeling is happening is a great step. Not realising them is hindering your ability to make lifestyle changes and reduce your risk factors. If the doctor has advised you to make healthier lifestyle changes to reduce those factors, then this is a perfect time to practice changing your mindset. A healthier diet should not be looked at as though you're depriving yourself of anything. You are actually making the right choices for your body and fueling yourself for the day ahead. Buying new cookbooks or looking up companies that deliver healthy ready meals to your door is a more positive way of dealing with the situation at hand. If you've been advised that you need to start exercising, this doesn't mean that you have to make sure that you can run a marathon in the next 6 months. Look up an exercise you know that you will love doing, like dancing or walking. Even if you just run or walk to the end of the road and back, it's more than you did yesterday, so it's a win. Exercising in general puts you in a better mood, which will then spur you on to more positive actions. For example, confirming that doctor's appointment they have asked you to come to. You may have been advised to stop smoking. After 40 years of smoking, you may think this is impossible, but believe me, it really isn't. If I did it, so can you. There is so much help out there to do this, all of these things. All it takes is that one phone call, that one email, or that one ask for the help that you need. One positive thought can change your mood for the day, which will produce good actions. But only by repeating this on a daily basis will you eventually change your mindset. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for listening to me today. It really warms my heart. If you want any of the links that I mentioned, I'll put them in my show notes, and you can find them at www.myheartandmind.co.uk/podcast. And again, as always, if you've enjoyed today's show, please give it a 5-star review. And if you think it's pants, just ignore this. Anyhow, please share on social media and tell somebody that you care about the show so that they can learn to live their life happy despite having a heart attack or heart surgery. And before I go, I just want to tell you that you are loved more than you will ever know. You're admired by more people than you'd ever expect. You are worthy of joy and happiness. Ta-ra, see you later.